Hey, sitting here spending a little bit of my time today working on some things that around our new book. And I just said, why don't I give a little bit to everyone while I express the book? And let me tell you why. So, first off, let me tell you what I'm talking about in the book. I recently wrote a book, the first book of a series. It's called A Fork in the Road. It's about the 8% Restopreneur. This is going to be one of probably somewhere between 8 to 10 books that I've already kind of idealized. It could grow. The 8% Restopreneur is the not the elite of our industry, but those that have chosen that I will be the elite, that I will do the hard work. I will pursue excellence through service and not just trying to make a few dollars. I will pay people the top price. I will pay people the top wages. I will provide as much value as I can to my customer for the experience. I will represent my industry, my community, myself, my values. I will. So these are people who are not trying to find a way to beat the insurance. These are the people that really, really consider themselves as a part of a movement, part of a industry, part of something they care enough about to go through the bad to get to the good to make the dreams come true. That's my example. What I will tell you that anyone that writes books will say, anyone that writes songs, anyone that makes art, it's really risky to try to explain what something is about and what the creator's mindset was. Because the truth is, when you listen to a song, when you look at a picture, the beauty of it is you're going to draw from it what you want it to be. It might mean something specific to you that might be different from the person that created it. And you don't want that ruined. You don't want to be led to a headspace. You want to create your own. That's what art is. That's what creating is. So I wrote this book, and 2 weeks ago, when you're watching this, I don't know when that's going to be. That will be more than 2 weeks ago. The response has been very good. Surprisingly, I've had a lot of conversations with people who just broke down and said, Clark, you kind of have grabbed the essence of how many of us or how that person feels. It's not specific in its meaning to restoration, but the book is around that. It's a fable. It is a piece of fiction. It does have characters, but the characters are uniquely and specifically created by me over the last few years so that the audience, the person reading these books or eventually listening to the audibles, which I will get to, will have some connection to personalities. It is in a form of a story. There is a place that it starts and that it does go. It takes you on a journey. And then the future books will have a little bit of overlap with some characters. Some people will show back up. Some of them will have parts in other books, other pieces of what we create. Some of them will have grown. Some of them will have left the industry. So I think you'll love it. But what I want to do now is I want to take a few minutes. If you're in a hurry, come back to this later. But I want to spend a few minutes reading the prologue so that you can kind of get an idea where we're starting from. And I'm going to read chapter 1 to you. Short book, short chapters. I think that I am around 100 pages max for this book. Most people have told me they read it from on a flight from here to there or in one sitting. It's not hard to read. It's easy to read, big font, go to go to go. Okay. Fork in the Road, subtitle, More Than a Story, It's a Wake-Up Call. And I hope you relate. Prologue, the 8% mindset. Most people who enter the restoration industry believe they're starting a business. The truth? They've just given themselves a demanding, high-stress job. They wake up every morning to ringing phones, urgent client calls, and insurance adjusters who want to nickel and dime every invoice. They work 60, 70, and even 80 plus hours a week, chasing payments, managing crews, and scrambling to keep up with the never-ending chaos of emergency restoration. The jobs keep coming, but so do the headaches. Cash flow is unpredictable. Employee turnover is sometimes high. The business feels like it owns them instead of the other way around. This is where 92% of restoration owners get stuck. They stay in survival mode, believing that working harder is the answer. They keep grinding, convinced that if they just land a few more jobs, things will settle down quickly. But they never do, because without the right mindset, strategy, and systems, the chaos never really stops. Then there is the 8%, the business owners who refuse to play the same losing game. They don't just work in their business, they build a company that runs with or without them. They create systems, leadership teams, and scalable structures that allow them to grow without being buried in daily operations. They understand the insurance industry's tactics and learn how to navigate it on their terms rather than waiting for adjusters to throw them scraps. They control their pricing, their client relationships, and their company's financial future. This story is about becoming part of that 8%. It's about breaking free from the chaos, designing a business that generates consistent profit, and achieving that freedom that most restoration owners will never experience. If you're tired of being overworked, underpaid, and dependent on insurance carriers to determine your success, you're in the right place. This is your roadmap to becoming an 8% restopreneur, a restoration entrepreneur who just doesn't survive, but thrives. Next page is really cool. You'd be able to go here, scan this QR code with your phone. That's going to take you to a page which gives you the character profiles of people in this book. Who are they? A little bit about their background, some, images that aren't really them, but that's their characters, so that you can kind of idealize who you're reading about, where they came from. And then, of course, as we write more books, there will be more characters that are from past and present books and where they might appear in other books and where you can find out more about them and their journey. So it's really, really been fun to create. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's probably right now one of the most impactful things that I feel like that I've contributed to. So I hope you share that with me. If books are your thing, if stories are your thing. So I hope this book drives inspiration, lets you know that there is another way and that you are not the only one. Chapter 1 is called Burnout Isn't a Badge of Honor. Jack Carter pulled into his driveway just past midnight, shutting off his truck, but making no move to get out. He sat there, gripping the steering wheel and staring at his darkened house. He had missed another dinner, another bedtime, another night gone. Inside, his wife and kids were asleep. Again, Jack let out a long sigh, leaning his head back against the seat. His body was exhausted, his mind even more so. His shoulders ached from hauling equipment all day, and his hands were still stained from the soot of a fire restoration job weeks ago. But it wasn't the physical exhaustion that weighed him out the most. It was the mental strain, the never-ending grind. His phone buzzed on the passenger seat. He ignored it. He already knew what it was. More problems, more fires to put out. Another delay from an insurance adjuster, another complaint from a technician, another customer wondered why their job hadn't started yet because Jack was stuck waiting on approvals that seemed to take forever. He glanced at his dashboard clock, 12:43 a.m. He rubbed his face and then finally grabbed his phone. 12 missed calls today. 3 were from an insurance adjuster still reviewing a claim he had submitted 6 weeks ago. Another 2 were from a technician who had botched up the documentation on a water loss earlier that day. The rest, who knows? It was always something. Always. Jack owns Carter Restoration, a company he had built from scratch with nothing but his savings, his truck, and an ironclad work ethic. 5 years in, the business had grown, more jobs, more employees, more revenue, but not more freedom. Instead of feeling like a successful business owner, he felt like a glorified employee, except worse. At least employees got to clock out. Jack never did. Despite working more than ever, his bank account never seemed to reflect the hours he put in. Insurance companies were slow to pay. His overhead just kept rising. Employees needed constant supervision. Every day was an uphill battle. And no matter how hard he worked, it felt like he was stuck in the same place. He unlocked his phone, scrolling through social media, because that's what you do when you don't know what else to do, Looking for a momentary escape, that's when he saw it. A post from Ethan Wells, an old friend in the industry. The picture showed Ethan and his family on a white sand beach, drinks in hand, and the ocean stretching out blue-green behind them. The caption read, 5 years in, and my business finally runs without me. Hard work pays off, but smart work pays more. Jack's stomach twisted. How? He and Ethan had started a restoration business around the same time. They attended the same WRT ASD combo at Reed's Drying Academy just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Back then, they were both hustling to get jobs, working crazy hours, and dealing with the same struggles. So why was Ethan on a beach while Jack was still stuck working himself to death? Jack stared at the video. Jack stared at the photo, a mixture of jealousy and frustration bubbling inside of him. What did Ethan know that he didn't? Was Ethan better than he was? Without thinking, Jack fired off a message. Hey man, how the hell are you able to step away from your business? I feel like I can't take a day off without everything falling apart. A reply came almost instantly. It was surprising because it's 12:43 a.m., but not really surprising. Let's grab coffee tomorrow. I'll explain. Okay, that means a couple hours of sleep. Jack exhaled. Jack exhaled, rubbed his temples. He didn't know what to expect, but right now, he needed answers he didn't have. And maybe, just maybe, he was finally ready to listen. I won't go on because I want you to buy the book. The next one is The Napkin That Changed Everything. He meets with Ethan and starts a series of things that, not right away, but he starts a series of steps that escalate to what becomes an ending near the end of the book of hope and a different way, and probably saying, why didn't I do this before? It just takes some people longer for any number of reasons. I'm going to put the link down at the bottom for the book. What I choose to do, because I believe in 8%, I believe in owning my own stuff. I have a self-published link that if you would like to buy a paper copy, some people like the physical. It's awesome cover, got a little stuff. If you want to buy a copy from us, there's a link there where it's a small self-publishing website where we don't make a lot of money off books, but we make a few dollars more. So we might make $4 a book, but it comes and supports our company and our efforts. And we also get to know you better. We get your email address so that we can share what we're doing in the future. But if you like Amazon, if you want to go spend it with Bezos, we have an Amazon link as well. I'll put that down below. That is where you can get the hardback, the Kindle, and very soon the Audible. I appreciate it. I give yourself the latitude and the time to possibly see if the book makes you think of things differently. If anything I just started to read about feels remotely familiar, I think this book will have something in it. You might know what you need to do next and you're not doing it. And this book might just be enough to say, this is the day, the week, the quarter that I do that. I hope so, because I want the 8% to grow to 15% of the people that really, really, really belong in this industry. Those others, especially the further they are away from the 15%, if they're at the end, they need to go away. And the way that happens is we start defining what right looks like and wrong looks like, and the public sees it. Thank you. Check out the links, check out the book, look at the reviews of what some other people are saying, and I think you really will say it's probably worth my 1 to 3 hours or whatever the time you read. If you want to wait for the Audible, wait for the Audible. Make sure you subscribe and follow us so that you can keep up with when that comes out. Thanks for taking the time and allowing me to share that first chapter with you. I think you really enjoy it, and I'm very proud of the work that we did putting this out. Take care.